Okay, let's dive straight in and have a listen to the musical example we're working with. As you can hear, it's not the typical sort of track you might associate with a pitch riser, certainly not a big synth-driven sound, something that perhaps would work more with trance. What we've got here is something a little bit deeper, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to make the video, to show you how I go about making risers for the more techie sort of percussive tracks that I make. So let's have a look. First up, I've got a clip here. I'll just activate this, and it's just got a single MIDI note in it that is 8 bars long. And then we're going to be working with samples. Again, you can use synths, but I find that pad type sounds or atmospheres, things maybe even you've recorded yourself, work really nicely for this. Let's have a listen to this sound. So you can hear it's very rich in frequencies. So I'm just going to come in here and use a low cut just to take some of those out. And I don't want this initial attack that they've brought in. I want to craft my own. So let's start with the marker a little bit in, have a listen. So you can hear we've got a much cleaner sound. Now I've got about a 5-second release on this, and that's just because I don't want the sound to cut dead. I want it to bleed over a little bit more smoothly into the next section of the track. And I don't want all of the contours and shapes of this sound. So again, what I'm going to do is just bring our start and end markers in a little bit more tightly. And to avoid any clicks and pops, we'll crank the fade up to 100% and just bring the start up a little bit, just a touch. Let's have a listen. The sound comes in a touch too suddenly, so I'm going to bring the attack up a little bit. Not too concerned about that, as you can see at this stage of the track. I haven't really worried about what's gone before, so that's something that would get tweaked a little bit later. So we've got now our timbre, we've got our atmosphere that we're going to use. What we need to do now is create the rising sound. So simply straight into the MIDI clip. Make sure you've got your envelopes highlighted and select MIDI control. The first thing that will come up is pitch bend, so it's nice and easy. I'll just stash the notes section out the way so we've got more room to work with. Now, a little tip for you, when you're doing things like this, it's often a good idea just to put a sneaky bit of movement in at the start. So if you use this clip somewhere else in the track, it will immediately snap back to the pitch, the starting pitch that you want. So I'm going to leave the first couple of bars nice and flat so we can get used to the sound. Then we'll ramp it up a little bit. And then we'll go much harder at the end. And if you're using Live 9, don't forget we've got the exponential curves. So you just hover near the line so that it changes color. Hold down Alt. And we can just put a nice bend in there so that it gets that bit much more movement at the end and builds the tension as we come closer to the next section of the track. So that is the entire riser built. In fact, I'll leave that a little bit higher. Let's check out what we've got. So I tweaked that curve a little bit more so it feels like it's got a bit more movement around that bar 5 to 6 area, as it wasn't quite as dynamic as I would like, but all in all I'm happy with that. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you found it useful if you make this style of music. Remember to hit subscribe if you want to get the videos straight into your inbox. Take care and I'll speak to you soon.